So here's a rain update. Well, I'm not soaking wet. My jacket's a bit wet, but the skin's dry. But what has happened is we've lost 6 degrees. So it's dropped. Temperature's dropped 6 degrees. So that's very, very handy. So a little bit more. Just according to the radar, we're kind of between two cells here at the moment. So I've just gone through the edge of one and heading kind of in between them now. So there's one there and there's one over there. It wasn't that hard. The rain, it was just enough to wet things down, cool things off. Well, g'day. I got to tell you, I am so excited. I know, I really am so excited. So this is the start of the trip to Tasmania. So welcome to Big Bike Adventures. I was in Melbourne this morning.
So good morning. This is the beginning of Big Bike Adventures. So here I am at the Melbourne airport. I'm going to catch a flight back to Brisbane, and then I'm going to do some small jobs, pack the bike, and then head off. So the funny thing is I'm going to get on the bike and ride back down to Melbourne. So it's going to be a full-on sort of day today. I'll finish the day at Glen Innes at my mate's pub at the Great Central, and we've got a big ride to get back down to Melbourne in the next couple of days. So let's get it started.
Anyway, I'm on the road. I've been on the road for about 50 kilometres. So I've done all the highway stuff, all the motorway stuff. That's all out of the road. So now it's just a matter of slabbing out through the outer suburbs. I'm looking at the weather, and I've been following the radar even when I was in Melbourne this morning, which is 2,000 kilometres away. I was looking at the weather, and the east coast is absolutely getting smashed, so there's no way known I'm going down the east coast. I was always going to try and go down through the centre of New South Wales anyway, because it's kind of the most direct route, and I've only got 2.5 days to get there. Look, I think we'll be right. Once we get up top of the range, we'll probably be okay. But it's just a matter of how much rain we're going to go through to get there. But yeah, it's exciting. So I've got my accommodation booked for tonight at Glen Innes. I've got no idea at all where I'm going to stay tomorrow night. So I just don't know what tomorrow night looks going to look like. Don't know where I'm going to get to, but I'm going to be a fair way west, so it'll be alright. We'll be fine. I'm just watching that weather. Look at those clouds. Oh, crazy! That's just crazy. 17 days of riding. Beautiful. So excited. I've got no idea how I'm going to make that into a video, but we'll see how we go. The most important thing you need to understand is how excited I am. I just am so excited. But I'm looking at this weatherhead going, yeah, I'm not overly excited about that. That's really starting to pour down. It looks like it's only very shallow, like it's heavy rain. It's just dropping straight down out of the clouds. It's hopefully, depending on which way that wind's blowing, we might even miss that. Maybe. Because we're kind of heading a little bit west from there. If that's all there is, I'm probably just not even going to bother stop putting my wet weather gear. I might just put the phone away and secure some of the cameras, but I'll probably just keep riding, I think, as it's 30 odd degrees. Wouldn't mind getting a bit wet just to cool things down. Anyway, that's it. Big Bike Adventures is very, very excited. And I'm just really looking forward to this. Is going to be great. Alright, I'll come back and chat later. Probably in the pouring rain. Alright, here's the rain update. We actually ended up being a little bit to the west of it so far. So it's the rain's out over this way. It's pretty dark. So hopefully, looking ahead, we might have skirted around that. Not that getting wet would have been a problem, just would have been easier. Well, here's a rain update. Guess what? Yeah. Oh, I just come into, it's just developed like there's that other one out over there, but it's just started pouring down in front of me. And I've just checked the radar, heading into a big storm down here. Very small, but quite heavy. So here's a rain update. Well, I'm not soaking wet, my jacket's a bit wet, but the skin's dry. But what has happened is we've lost 6 degrees, so it's dropped, temperature's dropped 6 degrees, so that's very, very handy. A little bit more, just according to the radar, we're kind of between two cells here at the moment, so I've just gone through the edge of one and heading kind of in between them now, so there's one there and there's one over there. They're massive drops of rain, but clear skies ahead, so haven't even bothered putting the phone away because there's actually not that much water getting in there. Just while we're moving anyway. Yeah, just about out of it. Well, if that's all the rain we get for this trip, I'll be very pleased. Well, I do have my wets with me, so it's not really a big deal. According to the radar, that's the end of that. We've got another little one further out that we may or may not get. But pants are wet enough now, so it's been seeping through into my legs. Again, not really a big deal because it's still 23 degrees, so you know, it's good temperature for a swim, and it will warm up again very quickly as soon as I get out of this weather, and I'll dry out very, very quickly, so I'm not worried about it. I haven't really tried these front forks in the twisties. I haven't had the bike without knobbies on it for quite a while, so I put some Anarchy 3s on these purely and simply because I'm going to Tasmania and I don't need knobbies. Most of the roads I'm going to be doing on the way down there are going to be just, you know, good quality dirt roads or highway, so I thought I'll put some Anarchy 3s on. I really like the Anarchy 3s, but this time I'm going to do some twisties, and the way I came today is to come and do some twisties, and I really like the way the Anarchy 3 hold on. My problem is big trucks. It's good to know they're on the road. This is exactly why I got this bike, so that a lot of these backcountry Australian roads, you'd be riding along on okay bitumen and then they just turn to gravel, and that's why I got this. I mentioned I was pretty happy with those front forks in the twisties, and I did mention I had to wind a bit more preload on the back, and I've done that. I just wound just a couple of turns on, but that front end in the corrugations is fantastic. I really like the way this bike's set up now. So that's the Racetech front end, Racetech valves, and the heavier Racetech springs in the front. Hello. 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 Hard to see you against the colour of that wall. What are you doing out? About 10 k's out of Tenterfield, where I'll get some fuel and then do the last run into Glen Innes. Well, good morning from Glen Innes, and day 2 of the trip to Tassie. After I got in late last night actually and didn't finish off the video, so I did that this morning, so I'll put that in here. So good morning from Glen Innes. I spent the night in the Great Central Hotel last night. I don't do a very good job of finishing off my videos in the evening. I got in about 7 o'clock and it did cool down significantly. It had about a 20-degree temperature change from when I left home, so I was actually quite cold when I got in, and it was great to have a warm shower, hot meal and a couple of beers and jump into bed. But it's ride time, so we're going to have a bit of brekkie
fill up with fuel and head off. Day 2 begins.
The day yesterday finished pretty uneventfully after I went through that bit of rain. Oh yeah, there was a bit of drama. I lost all my wet weather gear. Oh, I can't believe it. What a nightmare. I moved it to put it kind of in a position where it was more easily accessible to, in case the rain clouds came in, and it must have slid out. I couldn't believe it. That's the way it goes. The weather forecast for the rest of the trip's actually not going to be too bad. But what I'll do is I'll pull into one of those workwear places and grab some wet weather gear. That's generally a bit cheaper, and you can get some high-vis stuff. I think I'm going to be in Tasmania. I'll get some high-vis stuff, particularly if I'm going to be riding through Melbourne and it is raining. I might want to be a bit more visible. Anyway, look at this morning. This is a sparkling morning. I got in last night and it was overcast and it was just starting to spit a little bit as I came in, just sprinkled a bit of rain. As I got into the hotel, had a really nice dinner. That Great Central Hotel, belongs to a mate of mine that I've known for over 30 years, and kind of reconnected with him just recently through motorbike. He's a rider as well, and it's a good spot to stop now for me. I do like the Great Central Hotel very much. It's 8:15 Wednesday morning. I want to try and get about 600 or 700 kilometres under the belt today. So I'll get down near the Victorian border at least, see how I go. The good thing about riding through New South Wales and Victoria is they're not very big states, so you can kind of take care of them pretty quickly. We've got some riding to do, let's get it on. Bit interesting. I'm in a place called Manila. Yeah, not the Philippines. And got this Sigafredo coffee. It's my favourite coffee. I'm going to go and see if they have got my coffee. Well, there comes a time when you've got to get off the back roads and you've got to pick up a bit of highway to make up some time. So that's what I've had to do now. I've had to jump on the connecting roads between two of the major freeways. The problem is that there's a much higher risk of police activity on these. Whilst your average speed increases, you obviously need to be a little bit more careful. Anyway, trip's going well. Weather's good. Scattered clouds, I think they call that. Looking a bit dark again this afternoon. Rain out there to the west, or sorry, to the east of me. I just checked the radar a little while ago and it seems to be not in the direction I've travelled. I just called into a shop in Coonabarabran there to see if they had, into a workwear shop to see if they had any rain gear, but they didn't have any big enough. Gonna have to see how we're going Dubbo. The bike shop there that should have some Oxford gear, hopefully. Be in Dubbo in 2 hours. If I can make it through that without getting wet, I'll be more than happy. Famous last words. See out the other side of it anyway, so it's good. 27 degrees, just dropped down to 25, so it's not uncomfortable. It should dry pretty quickly. Oh no! I've lost my camera, my GoPro. It's stuck down inside my jacket. Ah no! Oh, cannot believe it. I dropped my camera. I dropped my GoPro out of my coat. I've just been driving along for the last couple of kilometres trying to find it. And here it is. Holy smokes. Looks like it's working still. Yeah, she still works. She's copped a hit on top there, but she still works. Oh, unreal. I mean, it's a good spot for it, but it's got to be really... God, oh dear. So I've probably just spent the last 10 minutes looking for that. That was amazing. Well, that's a $500 camera, so I'm glad I found that. Funniest thing ever. So I'm running this app called Life 360, and all the guys on the tour that are heading down to Tasmania are on this location sharing app. And one of the other guys I was going to be riding with, but he's only riding on the road. I've actually just activated the Life 360 app, and I'm looking at it. I'm going, oh, smokes! He's just like on the main highway over there. I'm on the secondary highway. That's me there, and that's him. And all of a sudden, it's a race. Game on! I'll give him a call later and find out where he's staying. We might hook up tonight. That's funny. It wasn't a race until I saw how close he was, and now it is a race. And he doesn't even know it's a race, unless he's looking at his phone as well. Like he's on an FJR or a Bussa or a Z14 or something, I think. Game on. So everyone on this app can actually see this happening. So I just wonder whether or not they're watching it. So I don't know if you can see that. So I've got myself back in front. What I'm thinking I might do, I'm going to get in front of him because of a race, you know, like get in front, that's the whole idea. Objects in the mirror are losing. So, so anyway, I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll let him go past. I'm not sure, he might even be stopping at Dubbo tonight. I think I'll keep pressing on. I might see if I can get to the intersection before him and wave at him as he goes past. That's very funny. I wonder if I should let him get in front and then sneak up behind him. So I just had a look at the Life 360 app. Jeff's just on the other side of Dubbo, so hopefully I can sneak up behind him. That'd be pretty funny. I found some riding gear. Where am I? I'm at Robertson's in Dubbo. It's a dealership. I found them on the net and called them. They had what I wanted, so I came and picked it up. Cost me $80 for a new set of pants and jacket. So when you got the gear, you got the gear, and if you've got stock, you can sell it. So that's good. So I've packed it away. I've velcroed, wrapped my wet weather gear to my luggage, so she ain't going nowhere. Let's go. GDR. Jeff, what are you doing? What are you doing, Jeff? Where are you, mate?
Here he is. I found him. Yeah. So here he is at the hotel. I've been watching on Life 360.
So that's Jeff Robson, guys. That's his GDR, and we're going to be at the ferry together on Friday night.
That's a date. Yeah. We'll be sleeping together.
Apparently. So he's done 900 k's today. Came directly from Brisbane. So I'm going to push a little bit further south this afternoon. Big beast, the old GDR. I knew it was something like that. Couldn't remember. This was the Z build. Righto. Echuca. Well, we won't make it to Echuca tonight. Might make it a Hay. How far we get. It'll make me sit in the 34 degrees heat. So temperature's currently showing 33 degrees. I'm just sitting here roasting. Just roasting. Ugh. And I bought my non-vented jacket because I thought I'd going to be riding in some really cool temperatures. So this is not really my preferred option to be sitting here. But I'm happy I've got the riding gear now. The riding gear is good. Got all that, the wet weather riding gear, got all that sorted now. That's good. I've secured it so I can't lose it again. A little bit better than the stuff that I had. It'll be interesting to see how it works if we get some rain, but now of course that I've got the wet weather gear, I won't pretty much get any rain for the rest of the trip, I imagine. That's the way it works, right? Alright, here we go. Righto, I'm ready to go now. So I beat him to Dubbo. I'm the winner, but I had to go and get the wet weather gear, so he got ahead of me. But he ended up stopping at Dubbo for the night anyway. So travelling together, we're all going to meet up on Friday. So he's basically just going to go straight down the highway. I'm going to turn off just up here and head back onto my original route. The only reason I came into Dubbo was to actually buy some wet weather gear. So now that I've got the wet weather gear, I can basically go and get back on the, well, not the dirt, but probably the more back roads and just slabbing it down the highway. We're on the Newell Highway at the moment. Really good trip. I've already done, I'm just looking at the kilometres, I've done about 600 k's already today, so 4:30, another hour on the road and a whole heap of wildlife starting to come out. I just want to push a little bit more west because there's no storms over here and all the weather's over here, so even though I've got my wet weather gear, I prefer not to ride in the wet, so I turn off up here to about 7 k's. Righto, so I just stopped to change battery. It's been getting a bit of a pounding today, and I'm trying to get away from that storm, which is kind of hunting me. Trying to avoid that great big storm out there. Although I do have my wet weather gear, and yes, it's still there. I'd rather not use it, and particularly if I'm going to be dodging around some dirt stuff, I'd rather not do that. Everything's going well. Just had a really big patch of bull dust went through, and the bike coped okay, but it would have been much more comfortable if I had some air out of those tyres. But I'm just kind of joining up all these back road bitumen bits with tiny little short bits of dirt like that. It's kind of just not worth letting the tyres down. Yeah, see what I mean? Just these kind of short dirt stretches. I don't want to get caught on one of these in that storm there. I'm just watching the fuel at the moment as well. I'm probably about 80 k's to dangerous. Good morning from Condoblin. We got in about 7 o'clock. The big girl and I got in about 7:30 last night. Got into the hotel, had a shower, very nice long shower. Went and had dinner. The food at the pub was really good. I actually, maybe because I hadn't eaten much yesterday, any food might have been okay. Had a great night's sleep. I think it's indicative of how tired I was. I slept really, really well. And it's 9 o'clock in the morning. So a very late start, but that's because it was a very comfortable bed. I slept very well. And now we're on the road. We're going to make it down to Victoria today. We're going to take a turn off up here. I posted some stuff on Facebook last night on the Australian Adventure Bike Facebook group just about the trip. And one of the guys said, "Hey, I live in Condoblin, which way are you heading tomorrow?" And I told him, he said, "No, don't go that way. Go the river road. The river road's much, much better. The dirt road along the river, obviously." I think that's the way I was going to be going. And then he's told me to come this way. And the plan is just to keep heading west. If you have a look at a map of Australia, Melbourne is a long, 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 long way west of the east coast, and you kind of don't realise it until you map out a trip like this, and you've actually got to head quite a long way west. It's a beautiful day to be riding. I was actually expecting it to be quite wet, given the storms we were looking at last night. I was actually expecting it to be quite wet today, but look at this, clear blue sky. It's 25 degrees, it's not bad. It was just it was a bit hot sitting in town. Anyway, so here we go. I'll keep you posted through the day. Yeah, getting a bit of gravel first thing in the morning. Oh, 70 k's of this. Alright then. Did really deep gravel in the middle there. Just stay on the car tracks, it should be okay. Look at this road surface. This is actually what we're riding on. So we're just going to be taking it nice and easy. So yeah, that's the surface. So we're just going to be taking it nice and easy. See in the mirror. What are we, Thursday today? Yeah, it must be Thursday, day 3. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yep. The start of day 3. Good morning to Big Bike Adventures. Well, good morning. We're still running along the river road, the Lake Cardeligo road. It's just really denigrated into this really horrible corrugated rutty. So I'm just trying to find the best line, but hopefully that'll be the end of that once we get this bitumen here. So you'll remember from yesterday I met up with Jeff, the other guy that's riding down to Tassie. So here he is here. He's still got his tracker on, and when I saw him and told him yesterday at the race he's got right, but he's sticking to the major highway and I'm kind of taking all the back roads, so he's kind of got a little bit of an edge on me. We're not actually even going the same way, so but it's just interesting watching both progressing down the highways, the various roads that we're going, but we're both heading south at kind of about the same pace, so yeah, it's interesting. But this thing only works off the cellular network, so I don't have any at the moment, so he's probably a little bit ahead of me again. But we'll see. He's probably likely to want to stop a bit more, but we'll keep an eye on that, because you know, now that he knows it's a race, it's on, baby, it's on. Now I've got the Omni Cruise going, just sitting here chilling, just trying to get a bit of air into the jacket. I've undone the zips. It's just 30 degrees again. Oh yeah, so I've got an update on my wet weather gear. So what happened was I jumped on Facebook last night, kind of made a bit of a post about how I lost my wet weather gear and had to call into Dubbo because, you know, I had to replace it. And it was on, I posted it up on one of the adventure bike sites that I'm kind of sharing the trip with. And somebody said, oh, over on the Queensland adventure bike rider site, someone found a raincoat, pair of pants on the Mount Lindesay Highway, which is where I was. Probably yours. I went, oh, probably is. So I made contact with a guy last night, but I haven't heard anything back from him yet, so I might have 2 sets of rain gear now. But anyway, I thought it was quite funny that happened last night. That was interesting. Well, when you're in the middle of nowhere, riding along, pretty much doing nothing for the next few hours, that's the sort of thing that becomes interesting. Shut up. Well, this is one of those stop and smell the roses moments. Oh look, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm in a place called Gunbar. Alright, so let's keep going. We got 80 k's, 34 degrees. She's hot. So we've got 75 kilometres to go, and my distance to empty hasn't come on yet, and when it does it'll say about 70s. I reckon we should be right, but again, it's going to be a close call. I know there's fuel in hay, so it's alright. Not like the drama of yesterday. Anyway, all good. Alright, I'll get back onto these long, boring stretches of hot road. Again, it said 34 degrees. She's hot. So for any of you guys that watched my trip to the Outback, just would have seen very similar landscape, but obviously not so much vegetation. So much of Australia is just dry, flat, barren land. Somehow people seem to make a living off it. I just find it amazing. Probably cattle property, or I don't know. I mean, there's fences there, so they're keeping something in. It's just amazing. hundreds of thousands of square kilometres of property owned by single people or single companies, you know. It's just amazing. So we're just cruising along called the Midwestern Highway, 70 kilometres outside the town of Hay, Hay. There's just nothing out here. No thing. Hang on, let me stand up so I can get a better view. See? Nothing. At least I'm on Benjamin this time. But boy, it's hot though. Still, it's just there's no respite at all. And I'm trying to get some air up in the sleeves. I've got my zips undone. I'll put my music back on and let you get back on with your night. Alright, fuel update. I've only got half an hour or so to go to get to Hay, but I thought I'd just stop and I don't know if you see any flies everywhere. But there's fuel update. So I've got 36 kilometres to go. I've done 300 and nearly 310 kilometres on this tank. The fuel light's just come on and telling me that I've got a fuel light. The distance to empty has just come on, which is the last bar on the VFR, and that telling me I've got 70 kilometres to empty. So if that's the case, that should be 370 k's. I've always worked on the basis the bike's got about 350k range, but just for the last 100 k's I've been doing a nice economical run, keeping the speed down. Emus, at least they're not on the road. I just finished lunch. I'm at a place called Hay. I got in with about 30 k's to spare on the fuel. 21 litre tank, and it took 19.9 litres. So got a little bit of room, not much. Anyway, back on the road. Egg sandwich for lunch. So if I start farting, won't matter because I'm on a motorbike. The ambient temperature is 37 degrees. That's ridiculous. Put my arm up and I let some air into my jacket and it's hot air. Righto, so we're about to cross over the mighty Murray River. This is also the Victoria-New South Wales border, so we're going from New South Wales into Victoria. So if my memory serves me correctly, the border is actually the Victorian side of the riverbank, so we're in Victoria now. Anybody up for a riverboat cruise?
There's a light across the river, and it's making me dream. It's the last of the riverboat. It's getting up steep. I can see it through the willows. I can hear it round the bend. The birds fly up the saying it won't be back again. But the riverboat knows just where the river goes. If someone throws me a line, it's the last of the riverboats going home.
Alright, well it's about that time of day. I'd better start looking for somewhere to stay. So we've gone about 20 k's past the last hotel. The next one should be within the next 100 k's, but Finally, some twisties. There's a cockatoo. Oh, hello. Shire of Metcalfe, 1867. This bridge, look at that. Well, so here's an update on the plan. I have plugged in a hotel at a place called Heathcote, which is about 20 k's down the road. A little bit off the planned route, but I need to get to a hotel and settle in for the night. So we'll go and check in there, and I'll do an update when we get there. And I'm just going to enjoy these twisties, get myself in the mood for Tasmania. I'm going to go a bit more east than I want to, but it doesn't really matter anymore. We're kind of, you know, within an easy couple of hours drive of where I've got to be, so I can have a nice easy start to the day tomorrow.
Well, good morning. It's Friday and we are going to go to Tasmania today. What's going on out here? Hello. You ready, baby? Just ready to go.
Well, good morning. This is day 4, and bike's all packed, ready to go. And today is the day that we get to the ferry in Melbourne. So I'm only a couple of hours outside Melbourne. I'm going to go meet up with a mate, have a coffee, and then we're going to ride down to the ferry together. So done about 2,000 k's to get here in the last couple of days. It's been awesome.
I've got about half an hour to go to, going to meet up with Jeff. So Jeff Robson, who is the guy that's been we've been shadowing each other down and riding the trip together. So I'm meeting him at about 10 o'clock. We're going to ride up through the mountains. We don't need to be down at the ferry till about 5 o'clock this afternoon. Just kind of peak out traffic in Melbourne, so it's a bit of a pain. So yeah, we're going to have kind of a coffee meet up about 50 k's from here, so due there in about half an hour, and then we can head off. We're going to go up over some of the mountain roads. It's a nice 20 degrees, good riding temperature actually.
Look who I found. So Jeff's just arrived on his GDR. We're going to have a coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
And breakfast, so I'm having breakfast. Yeah. And then we're going to go ride some twisties before we get to the ferry. So
Finally made it into Melbourne. We kind of did a big loop around the outside just to do some scenic stuff, and now we're in the heart of it. We've got 30 degrees. Can't believe it's 30 degrees in Melbourne in March.